Hello friends, welcome to the today's online session. Today we will be starting with our module number 3, that is nothing but the fluid mechanics. Okay, so in this fluid mechanics we will be studying the properties of the fluids. First of all we will see what is fluid, what is the properties which are exhibited by these fluids. Okay, and then we will go into the details of the application of the fluids of this properties of these fluids. Okay, so first of all let us start with the definition of what do you mean by fluid, and then we will start with the rest of the topics. Okay, see, in everyday life we are using so many applications of these fluids. For example, oil is used in mechanical industries or engineering section in order to provide a frictionless surface in between the two bodies which are in contact. For example, in bearings you are using an oil in order to have a frictionless motion in the mechanical parts attached in the engines. Or you can consider for example, in paint industry as also. In paint industry, the paint manufacturer consider the aspect of this fluid that it can be easily applied on the wall, such that with the help of brush or roller. So these are nothing but all the applications of fluid mechanics. In short, actually, to the point, these are nothing but these are the applications of the viscosity of the fluids. So first of all, we will start with the definition of the fluids. What is fluid? Actually, fluid is nothing but fluid is anything which can flow. Fluid is anything which can flow. So if you consider, any material which has the ability to flow, then you can call it as a fluid. So basically speaking, if you consider, there are two types of fluids we people know. One is called as liquid and another is called as gas. For example, liquid and gas. So if I say these fluids, they don't have specific shape. Okay, if you pour a liquid in some container, it will take the shape of that container only. So liquid or gases, they don't have a specific shape, but there is a difference between the liquid and gases. These fluids which are classified into liquids and gases, so you can say that this gas, it is a compressible fluid. Gas is compressible fluid. It is compressible fluid, and liquid, it is incompressible fluid. It is incompressible fluid. So that we have to remember that liquid is incompressible fluid and gas is compressible fluid. Okay, but these fluids, they possess certain property that is called as viscosity. Now what is this viscosity? That we have to understand first. In rough language, you can say that fluids possess a property called viscosity, which is a measure of ability to flow. Okay, so the ability which fluids are having to flow, that is called as the viscosity. For example, water and oil, you can say. Okay, if I spill water on the surface, from bucket, if I throw the water on the surface, okay, and in the second condition, if I spill a water on the surface, what you will observe, that water will spread a larger distance as compared to the oil. This is due to, because water has low viscosity. This has low viscosity as compared to oil. So in engineering, for frictionless movement of the mechanical parts in engine, since liquids with high viscosity are used. Okay. Okay, so and if you consider this, or if you consider water and oil, it has low viscosity and oil has a high viscosity as compared to water. This has high viscosity. Okay, so you have to routinely change the oils of the vehicles in order to maintain its high viscosity. Okay, so when its viscosity goes down, you have to replace the oil which you are using in the engines. Okay, so this is the viscosity. In order to understand the viscosity in more detail, we will consider one flow of liquid and then we will try to define what is viscosity in more detail. Okay, so let us start by considering an example of viscosity. Consider this is the surface. Let us name this surface as xy. This is the surface. This surface has a name xy. Okay, and over this surface the liquid is flowing. Okay, over this surface liquid is flowing like this. Okay, as you move away from the bottom surface, you will understand one thing is that in this case of a liquid, as you move from the bottom surface, the velocity of the liquid layers, it is increasing. Okay, so let us say one such layer, let us say this is layer P, and let us say this layer R, or let us say PQ. Okay, let us say this is P, this is Q. Okay, and its velocity it is, let us say, V. When you go in move in upward direction, its velocity is dV, and when you are going in downward direction, its velocity decreases. Okay, and we'll assume that the distance of this layer from this, let us say it is x. The distance of this liquid layer P from the surface, it is x, and the next adjacent layer, it is at a distance dx from this one. Okay, so if I ask you, if you ask me the distance of this layer from the surface, then it is x plus dx. This distance is x plus dx. Okay, and velocity increases as you move away and away from these layers. Okay, you can have further more layers on this side. Okay, so let us first of all write, we are discussing this for viscosity. Okay, in order to find out the greater details of the viscosity, what is coefficient of viscosity. Okay, first of all we will write the description of this one and then we will start. Okay, so consider a motion of liquid. Consider a motion of liquid or fluid, you can say fluid. Consider a motion of fluid over the surface xy, over the surface xy. Let the flow of fluid be steady, slow, and slow. Okay, what we will consider is that next different layers of fluid move with increasing velocity from the bottom to upward direction. From the bottom to upward direction. Different layers of liquid move with increasing velocity from the bottom to upward topmost layer. Okay, and as let P and Q P and Q be such two layers at distance. P layer is at a distance x from the surface and Q layer is at a distance x plus ds. Okay, let P and Q be two such layers at distance x and x plus dx, moving with velocity P layer is moving with velocity v, and Q layer is moving with the velocity v plus dv, v and v plus dv respectively. Okay, so this we have considered. Now the quantity. Now see, as you move away from this surface, the velocity of the layers goes on increasing and its distance from the surface also goes on increasing. Okay, so the quantity which is the quantity dv by dx, okay, quantity dv by dx, that is nothing but the rate of change of velocity with respect to distance. That is, the quantity is called velocity gradient. The quantity is called velocity gradient. That is the rate of change of velocity with respect to distance. So this is the velocity gradient dv by dx. So as you move away from the lowermost layer or the surface, your velocity increases, also distance increases. What Newton has observed is this: when one layer is traveling with a velocity v, the next topmost layer it moves with a higher velocity. Okay, based on this he proposed that there is a force of friction between these two layers here, and that frictional force is nothing but the viscous force. So Newton found that the viscous force F between the layers, capital F between the layers of fluid, is, he proposed two statements that we will write it down now. He proposed first as, we'll note it down over here. He proposed first the viscous force is directly proportional to the area of contact between the layers. Okay, so from this one we can get F is directly proportional to area of the layer. And number two, he proposed that viscous force is directly proportional to the velocity gradient, which is nothing but dv by dx. Okay, so from these two, what we can write is this. From these two things, we can write F is directly proportional to area of the layer, and F is directly proportional to dv by dx. Okay, these two things we can write. If I combine these two equations, combining, I can write F is directly proportional to A and it is directly proportional to dV by dx. Okay, so combining we can get this equation. Now if I remove this proportionality sign, then I will get F is equal to a proportionality constant, let us say it is eta, proportionality constant eta times A into dV by dx, where eta is called coefficient of viscosity, where eta is called coefficient of viscosity, coefficient of viscosity. This theta is called as coefficient of viscosity. Now if we rearrange this equation, we can find out the value of eta. Okay, if I rearrange this equation from this one, I can find out this eta. If I transfer all the terms on the one side, if I transfer this A and dV by dx on this side, I can write this in this fashion: F upon A into dx by dv. If A is equal to 1, if I substitute A is equal to 1 and dV by dx is equal to 1 in this equation, then I get eta is equal to F. From this one, what I can do, I can define the coefficient of viscosity. So let us note down the coefficient of viscosity, of fluid is defined as eta is defined as the viscous force, per unit area required to maintain unit velocity gradient. Okay, so that is nothing but the coefficient of viscosity. Now we will try to find out the units of this one. Okay, units. Okay, now see, in CGS unit, what you have is this. In CGS unit, force is measured in dyne, area is measured in centimeter square, distance is measured in centimeter, and velocity is measured in centimeters per second. Okay, if you simplify this, you can get this square will get cancelled with this. You can write this dyne, and this you can write centimeter. Then this will be second upon centimeter. So this will be centimeter into centimeter. This will become dyne centimeter second per centimeter square. Dyne second centimeter square. That will be the CGS unit. And this CGS unit, that is called as poise. In SI unit, force is measured in terms of Newton, and time is measured in terms of seconds, and this is measured in terms of meter square. And this SI unit is called as decapoise. That is decapoise. And there is a relation between this SI unit and CGS unit, that 10 poise is equal to 1 decapoise. Okay. So 10 poise is equal to 1 decapoise. That is the relation. Now what we will do, we will try to find out the dimension of the eta. Okay. So let me rub this. we will try to find out the dimension of this from this expression. Okay, now dimensions. Now we will try to find out the dimensions of eta. Now see, the dimensions of eta is equal to dimension of force and divided by dimension of area into dimension of dx divided by dimensions of dv. Okay, now force has the formula mass into acceleration. Mass is measured in terms of kilogram, so this will be m1, and acceleration is measured in terms of meters per second square, so it is L1 t minus 2. Okay, so that is the dimension of force. Now next, area is measured in terms of meters square, so it is m0, L2 and t0. Next, dx, which is a distance, so it has a dimension of L1, so it is m0, L1 and t0. And finally, velocity, which is measured in terms of meters per second, so it is L1 and t minus 1. Okay, so this now just we have to simplify this. Now we just have to simplify this. Okay, now simply you have to apply the laws of indices. Okay, MLT. Now 1 plus 0, that is 1, 1 plus 1, that is 2, and minus 2 plus 0, that is minus 2. And for the denominator we can write, now it is MLT. For this 0 minus 0, 0 plus 0, that is 0, 2 plus 1, that is 3, and this is minus 1. Okay, finally we can write this. Now for this one, you have to just take a subtraction of the indices. 1 minus 0, that is 1. 2 minus 3, that is minus 1. Minus 2, minus plus 1, that is minus 1. So it is m1, L minus 1, t minus 1, that is the dimension of the coefficient of viscosity. Okay. From this also you can define what is wise and what is decawise by using this corresponding units. I hope you have understood this, what is coefficient of viscosity and what are its units and dimension. In the coming lectures we will consider the next topic from the same point. Thank you.